everybody. It's time once again for another episode of OC Spotlight, the one show that takes a look at the most incredible people doing the most amazing things right here in your own backyard. And this week, well, I say it every time we do this show, but this week we got really something special, really something different, that's for sure. Today we're privileged to have with us vocalist and dancer Janet Rayor. Did I say that name correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
And you have a nickname. They call you what? L?
L.
L. How do you get L from Janet?
Well, my middle name's L.
Ah, okay.
And since L means she in French, it seemed appropriate.
I didn't know that. Well, you've given away the secret here. You do a French show. As a vocalist, dancer, you came up with this thing a few years ago called Rouge. I take it it's sort of supposed to sound like the Moulin Rouge, the famous club, and we've seen movies about it and endless films about it, famous club in Paris. And it's, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, it's sort of a classic Parisian cafe kind of performance. Is that correct?
Yes.
More or less. It's what I'd hear if I was back in the 20s or 30s listening to Parisian cafe music. If I was listening to Django Reinhardt playing his hot gypsy jazz or somebody else. I'm trying to think
we're in the 40s listening to Edith Piaf. And,
yes, that was the one I was trying to think of. And you say Edith. I would have said Edith, but Edith Piaf. Yes, Edith Piaf. That's the one I always heard growing up. She'd do these very dramatic, very soulful songs. Somebody been killed or murdered or something here. It seemed like there was always some drama.
I'm really into cheery songs.
Very, Anyway.
She had the best songwriters in the world writing for her.
Oh, they were such dramatic pieces. My mother would play them, and I was like, really? They were. Each one was dramatic, and they seemed to all have life and death issues involved in them here. Or somebody's left.
Yeah.
So why in the world would you come up with? Why would you? Thank God somebody did, because I think a lot of this is long since forgotten. People are scrambling to go to YouTube and Google to look up Edith, or however you say it. I say Edith Piaf, or
that's fine, Edith Piaf.
Even Django, Django. Go look up Django Reinhardt, the famous gypsy guitarist in the hot jazz period. I'm into jazz, and I love hot jazz. That early Parisian style of rapid fire, jangly jazz that the gypsies played. Stefan Grappelli later on, and Django Reinhardt, and all these people, but. I love that kind of music. I mention it. I don't think there are 5 people in the building I'm at who's ever heard of this stuff here. So how did you revive this? Why did you revive this? And what kind of reception do you get for it?
Well, we've got an incredible reception. People think that it's only for a certain age group, but when we play, little children start dancing in front of the stage, and teenagers go, well, this is amazing. They've never heard it, and that's just because radio stations don't play it. And
what surprised me is my mother would play this stuff. This was very popular. My late mother, she was born in that World War II generation, so that was they loved everything French. My dad always wanted me to speak French. We have a different attitude towards the French these days here, I'm sorry to say, but at one period of time to that post-World War II generation, or that World War II generation, France was just everything sexy and cool, Brigitte Bardot and everything that you could finally, all the cool actors and all the cool singers and everything. And even if they heard it in French, people reacted to it. Is that still true? Do I have to?
And all over the world.
Do I have to understand French to appreciate this, or will I just feel the music that you're doing?
You'll feel the music, and also I always introduce the songs in English, so you have some idea of the story.
Good. And
since I was taught by the co-founder of the L'École de Mime of Marceau, so he is. So there's things that I do in mime, not over the top, but things that will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And then just the feel of the music, and I have my incredible keyboardist and violinist with me, and people just get a sense of it. And then there's a lot of interaction with the audience, and I also dance. So people get a sense of it.
And you're going to put on a whole show. This isn't just you singing some old French cafe music here. This is you recreating that period and bringing it to life. Marcel Marceau, there's another one. Is anybody? I'm over 60, so everybody remembered him. He seemed to embody mime. Good or bad, he was the mime guy. You know, mime seemed to get to a point for many in my generation that they got turned off by it. And it seems to be a punchline rather than a good thing when you see it in movies. But I just love mime, what they can do to transform you, to make you see something that only they see. And in the same way that you can sing music and make me feel something that is so deep, I think it's amazing for both art, to sing, to dance, and all that. It's all about expressing yourself and connecting me with some emotion. Not just showing me what you're feeling, but to make me feel it, right?
Yeah, and I think the joie de vivre, the kind of
joie de vivre. Oh, there's a word my dad used to love to use. Joie de vivre, the joy of life. Does anybody just drop French like that anymore? You're winning me over. I got to come see this show. Joie de vivre. Next, you're going to say je ne sais quoi. That's certain something, and I'm going to melt here. I mean, I just love these French ideas and this whole French culture. Is French culture been forgotten by the millennial generation? They don't seem, they're focused on something else. I don't see a lot of French culture front and center in our society like it once was. When Jackie Kennedy was president's wife, the most glamorous, arguably the most glamorous woman ever to hold office, she spoke French, and she went to France, and we all marveled at how articulate she was in French. Every well-bred man or woman spoke French in the 60s and 50s here. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Have we lost something?
Oh, I think definitely. And I think just the sense of time being sped up. And so to take a night, and as I understand it, the Muckenthaller is having wine and cheese outside. They have decorations, and
yes.
It'll be.
They're going to transport you back in time. So let's tout that since you opened the door here. You're coming into this area. You're normally up in Seattle, but you're coming to Orange County to perform this show, this recreation of a Parisian cafe. It's you singing, it's gypsy jazz, it's old songs, it's dancing from this period, maybe a little bit of mime, all that to bring back this French flavor at the Muckenthaller. And for those who are saying, the what? The Muckenthaller. We've had them on a couple of times. It's a museum. It's an old house that was given to this city back in the, I don't know, it's a house was built in the 20s or 30s. I think it was given to them in the 50s. And they've turned it into a cultural center. It's like the Great Gatsby kind of mansion in Orange County. It was once some Orange Baron's estate up in Fullerton. It's right near Cal State Fullerton. And they open it once in a while for these kinds of programs. And it's absolutely incredible night. And they have a little amphitheater, a beautiful amphitheater with incredible sound system. I've been there several times. And they put on these kinds of unique, nostalgic kinds of performances. This one happens to be what? In celebration or remembrance of another event that's sadly been forgotten, the end of World War I, not World War II, but World War I ended, I think, this month, this day. And so they're bringing you in to recreate this Parisian cafe. What a cool idea at the Muckenthaller. You can go to check it out at the Muck, literally, T-H-E, themuck.org, because nobody can ever spell Muckenthaller. But go look up the muck.org. It's Thursday, 27th, coming up just around the corner here for those listening live. This is June of 2019 if you're listening to it later. So if you miss it, we're going to give you some other places you can go learn about this music that she's doing. So again, why? Why did you do this? Did you grow up with it? Were you drawn to it?
Yeah, my grandmother played the Piaf records from as far back as I can remember.
That seems to be the common start here for both of us here. Okay.
Yeah, and then at 13 I studied with Claude Coe, mime, and then my mentor.
And he worked with Marcel Marceau in starting that famous mime school over there.
He was the sword master there.
Sword master, okay. And so you traveled to France to do this? You didn't do this via the internet like we do today?
Actually, initially, I did it in America, and I fell in love with the music really early, and I just completely fell in love with the music. I don't even know so much of the culture, but just the music, and I had grown up listening to things in other languages, and so it didn't bother me that, this would be in a different language, and I thought it was stunning, and it fit my voice, and when I finally started singing it, I just felt like I'd finally come home.
And how do you find venues for this? Again, it's a nostalgic trip.
I perform so much, which is so crazy, because when I decided to do it here in the U.S., I thought, you've got to be crazy. Nobody's going to come. This is insane.
Yeah, right. A few college campuses maybe are crazy places that they'll, for some reason, want to recreate, bring back music from the past. I've seen people do the Preservation Hall jazz. That's what I'm thinking of, the early jazz. You see them perform at colleges and stuff, and there's a certain... because there's a historical group of people there that remembers this and wants to recreate. But you're doing this all over. This is the middle of conservative, quiet Orange County in a very classy, upscale mansion, and I'm sure the thing will be sold out.
Well, the thing is that we also are bringing modern elements to it. There's always been crossover cultures that have contributed to French music, that have contributed to all musicians. So there's always this feeding of different cultures together. So
if people want to get a sense of it, let me just, I'm sorry to rush you a little bit because our time is short here, but let me give them a website. It's Rouge, and for those who don't know French well enough, that's R-O-U-G-E, Rouge, which means red in French.
Mm-hmm. And our website is rougemusic.com.
Rougemusic.com.
English.
So go check it out and see if this is for you, but what a fun thing, something that you will not see anywhere else. Something that you will have a blast doing, and for a great cause and a great remembrance and a great place, the Muckenthaller up in Fullerton. Again, go to themuck.org, get some tickets, go to rougemusic.com and see what it's all about. And come see a classic Parisian cafe from the 20s or 30s. Give us can you give us some idea of the set or things we're going to see or hear if we were there?
Well, you'll hear an incredible keyboardist. And our violinist is a three-time Scottish fiddling champion.
What? Scottish fiddling champion doing, what's he fiddling around with French music for here? He likes it.
He does all kinds of different things, and he's outrageously good and does both fiddling and is a major... he does classical works as well. And our pianist is one incredible stride jazz player.
Stride, there you go. Look, go look that one up. We don't have time to explain that, but that's a style, an early style of jazz music. And I'm hoping we're going to have him. I'm going to do this on the fly. I don't know if we can hear him, but you said he's there. Maybe as we're done, I'll cue him and he can play a little something, and that'll take us out rather than our normal extra here. Is that something we can throw together?
Okay, my violinist isn't here, but my keyboardist is.
All right, just have him, noodle around something, 30 seconds worth of something, and when I say take it away, we'll do it then. So we'll keep talking for a couple minutes and let him get set up here. But in the meantime, vocalist, dancer Janet Rayor, founder of Rouge, that's who we're talking with here. She's got the show coming up at the Muckenthaller in a week or two. It's June 27th. Tickets are available at themuck.org. And if you want to get some pre-sense of what it's all about, this cafe Parisian music, go to Rouge Music, R-O-U-G-E, rougemusic.com. So have you ever performed here in Orange County before?
No, never. We're so excited
I like
to go
that.
there.
First time.
Yeah.
I love that. And we're going to introduce people to a whole new style that they probably, if they've heard it, it's been a long time. And shame on that, because it's great music. How would you describe Parisian music, this period of time?
Well, there's these really fast, I love this. There's fast waltzes that are like rivers. They just go, it's like a harp music.
Pulls you along.
It's incredible harp music. And then...
the gypsy jazz is very fast style. I don't know if you play it that fast, but it's real upbeat, real fast, real syncopated, and real... yeah, there you go. Wow. Yeah, it has a kind of bounce to it.
Yeah, really, really fun and bouncy. and boy, you're asking me what it's.
We're trying to describe something that can only be heard, but I just want to give people a sense of that. That little sample was perfect. Give us one other little sample. Give us something. How about the gypsy jazz? Anything like that?
Oh, that was more of that.
That style. Give me something more Edith Piaf. The dramatic. She's lost her man and she shot him, and Frankie meets Johnny or something here. Yeah.
C'est beau ce que je peux t'aimer, des fois je voudrais crier.
Wow. I got to come see this thing.
So it has this
there's
a longing and
something lost, and a longing and a melancholiness to it, and a soul to it. Yeah, I can see it right now. I can picture it.
Also an incredible joy. It's like almost incredible joy even in the sorrow, in loss too. Yeah. It's just like being alive. It's being alive. That's what people have said. They're reminded of things, and they want to kiss each other, and they want to...
Very romantic, yes. And maybe that was the period, because clearly this was between the wars, the two greatest wars we've ever foolishly fought, that killed, 100 million people, literally, around the globe between World War I and World War II. And that period between the war was one of great joy, great excitement. We had the stocks zoom up and crash down. We had the jazz age. We had women liberation, the vote. It was sort of a crazy, sped up period of time. And I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see a period like that again. But it certainly created a lot of great art. Created a lot of great music. It created what we're going to see coming up on June 27th at the Muckenthaller, Rouge. Well, thank you for spending a couple moments trying to explain to us what can't be explained, which can only be experienced.
Well, thank you for having us.
Any final words? Encourage people to come out. Why should they come out and see this if they've never even heard the music before? Because
they can't hear it on the radio. Therefore, they should go out and hear it and have an incredible night that they wouldn't hear otherwise.
It's
not expensive tickets.
No.
And we'll be, and people have said this is the best night of my life, even when we're just playing in a restaurant or something.
I believe it, because it transports you back. Yeah, it transports you back to another time, a time that for us is. It's Casablanca. It's the movie Casablanca. It's when Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman fall in love. It's that kind of time period and feeling. Yeah.
And also just my interaction with the audience.
To bring it alive. Yeah. Right.
There's a lot of interaction with the audience, and I want them to feel special and creative. So when I'm interacting with the audience, it's surprising. I like being a little bit mischievous and working with them so that they shine. And so that's something that having done all of this, having done street performance as well, I know how to work with people one-on-one too, so that things...
Well, thank you. Thank you for spending one-on-one with us. Thank you. What's your piano player's name?
That's Slayton Murray.
Slayton Murray, thank you, sir. I would love it if you would come see us. It's June 27th at the Muckenthaller Theater. Just look up themuck.org. Go to rougemusic.com to hear more about it. Take it away. Let's take us out and give us a little sample. You've been listening to another example of why we do this show. Things you can't hear anywhere else, folks, here on the OC Spotlight, right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OCTalkRadio.net.